Hi, I'm Jorge. I'm the creator of INKAS the Legend. We are going to be launching a Kickstarter campaign to create a game with miniatures such as this. Now we've created a print and play game, free, so you can download it, you can learn it, you can enjoy it, and then you can support us. So now I'm going to give you a quick overview of the game. Just so you know, many of the names used in the game are in Quechua, which is the language spoken by the Incas. This is the Tahuantinsuyo board. It represents the territory of the Inca Empire. The real Inca Empire was divided in 4 regions, which is what Tahuantinsuyo means, 4 suyos, or 4 regions. The 4 suyos are Chinchaysuyo, Antisuyo, Collasuyo, and Contisuyo. Each suyo has many wamanis, or provinces. For the purpose of the game, we only have 9 wamanis per suyo for a total of 36 wamanis. And at the center of the game is the Titicaca Lake or Titicaca Cocha. So there is a total of 37 spaces in the Tahuantinsuyo that you can travel to. There are also 12 peripheral wamanis around the board. In one of these ones, the Cusco is hidden. The goal of the game is to find Cusco's location, and in this wamani is where the Inca Empire will be founded. Keep in mind that in the real Inca Empire, Cusco was located in the center of Tahuantinsuyo, which is what the word Cusco means, navel of the world, because for the Incas, Cusco was the center of their universe. Since in the game, the location of Cusco is unknown, it isn't located in the center of the board. In the Inca Empire, they believe that there are 3 worlds: the Hananpacha, which is the world above, which is heaven, the Caipacha, this world, which is the terrestrial world, and the Ucupacha, also called Urimpacha, which is the world below or hell. The Hananpacha is represented by this small board. Here's where you place the Amaros, which are the Incas' version of dragons. Here goes the Llamas or Lamas, and the almighty Huiracocha, supreme god of the Incas. The Tahuantinsuyo board is part of the Caipacha, the terrestrial world, and the Ucupacha is represented by this small board. Here's where the sacrificed llamas and huayas are placed. Basically, this is the cemetery. So this game is basically the representation of the Inca universe. To start setting up the game, you must first put all 12 Pacha cards inside their respective sleeves. This is a Pacha card, you put it in the sleeve, and then you have to randomly place them around the Tahuantinsuyo. Pacha is a very complex word. It means many things, like this moment, this place in space-time. It also means cosmic, universal, earth, reality, etc. Each Pacha card has a different fate. Some are good and some are bad, and one of them is the Cusco card. 2, 3, or 4 players can play INKAS the Legend. You can team up, or players can compete against each other. Each player becomes an Apu, which means Lord, Leader, Captain, and even God. Each Apu chooses one of the 4 suyos, and then one of the 4 playable Ayllus. Ayllus means clan or family. The 4 Ayllus are the Inca Ayllu, the Colla Ayllu, the Chancas Ayllu, and the Supai Ayllu. There's a 5th Ayllu called the Amaru Ayllu, which they are here, but they cannot be selected. I'll explain how they work later. Each Apu also receives 12 conquest flags from their Ayllu. It indicates which wamani they have conquered, which province. They also receive 6 llamas, which signify the energy that they need to unlock powers, and also the offerings that are given to Huiracocha. And finally, each Apu receives 5 huayas that belong to their Ayllu. And these pieces are what represent the miniatures that we want to use in the final version of this game and that we want to fund with Kickstarter. Here's a simple prototype of one of these pieces. This huaya is called Supai, and he's the leader of the Chanca Ayllu. This removable piece is the Tupayauri. The Tupayauri is the gold staff that was used to found Cusco. In the Inca legends, the Ayar siblings, Ayar Manco, his wife Mama Ocleo, and the rest of the Ayar siblings traveled through the different lands, plunging the Tupayauri on the ground until it sinked, indicating that the ground was fertile. In that spot, the city of Cusco was founded. In the print and play version of the game, the Tupayauri is this small token. Guayas, or warriors, are able to carry the Tupayauri with them, and then they can steal it from each other. They can fight and steal it from each other, because this is what is needed to found the city of Cusco. As you can see, the Guayas, the miniature Guayas, are on top of a shield. Each shield has the IU's emblem and a color in the border to represent the role that this Guaya has within their IU. The pieces in the print and play game are basically just the base of the miniatures. To start the game, all the Apus throw the Wiracocha die to find out who goes first. Each side has black dots, just like a regular die. The Apu with the higher number starts the game. You can only use one Guaya during each turn, and each Guaya can perform 4 actions in this order: an offering, a move, an attack, or a placement. An offering means giving a certain amount of llamas to Wiracocha in exchange for something. So I would offer my llamas, send them to the Ucupacha, and then I throw the Wiracocha die to find out if Wiracocha accepts the offering. If Wiracocha has a red angry face, it means that Wiracocha did not accept my offering, and I just lose my llamas. If I get a happy green face, it means that Wiracocha approves, and I lose the llamas, but I get my request. At the moment, there's only 2 types of offerings, but we may add more in the future. The most used offering is resurrection. Let's say I have a dead Guaya in the Tahuantinsuyo. I would offer my 2 llamas, and then if Wiracocha approves, then I can resurrect my Guaya. After performing or not performing an offering, a Guaya can perform a move. A move means putting a Guaya on the Tahuantinsuyo board on one of the 3 peripheral Guamanis that are in my Suyo. It also means moving a Guaya 1 Guamani around them, be it horizontally or vertically or diagonally. If there's a pirca or wall, I cannot move. After performing or not performing a move, a Guaya can perform an attack. All Guayas can attack enemy Guayas within their same Guamani. So for example, this Guaya can attack this other Guaya here. You just have to announce it and then throw the Wiracocha die to find out if Wiracocha approves of your attack. If Wiracocha approves, then the enemy Guaya is turned upside down, and it means that he's dead. But if Wiracocha doesn't approve, then nothing happened with my attack. After performing or not performing an attack, you can perform a placement. This means moving the Tupayauri. It can be grabbing the Tupayauri from a dead enemy Guaya, you can just grab it at the end, or you can grab it from an ally. If you have an ally within the same Guamani, you can just grab it. It also means taking out the Tupayauri from the Titicaca Cocha, or taking the Tupayauri from a peripheral Guamani. But to do that, you need to throw the Wiracocha die to find out if Wiracocha allows you to take out the Tupayauri. You need to have the approval, and then you can move it. Then your turn ends, and the next player, clockwise, will continue with their turn. So, at the start of the game, the mission is to move towards the Titicaca and pull out the Tupayauri. I will throw the Wiracocha die until Wiracocha allows me to take it out. And then the next mission becomes going to one of the peripheral Guamanis to plunge the Tupayauri and get one of the Pacha cards. But you gotta be careful. Some Pacha cards have good things, others have bad things. So you have to be smart which Waya you send to plunge a Tupayauri. For example, this is a guy who has protection, defense, so it's probably smart to use him. Some Pacha cards like this one have an Amaru card, and I will explain this a little bit later, but it could be a bad thing. But if you're lucky, you might get the Cusco card, and if you do, then you win the game instantly. When you plunge the Tupayauri on a Wamani, you're also conquering it, so you put your IU's conquest flag in it. That way you know which are the Wamanis that now you're the owner of. If the Wamani that you just conquered, it's outside of your suyo, now if you want to put a new Waya on the board, not only can you do it on your suyo's peripheral Wamanis, but you can also do it on the Wamanis that you have conquered. Now, before I tell you about the Waya's roles and abilities, let me talk to you about the Amaros. Amaros are the dragons of the Inca Empire. There is an IU of 5 female Amaros which are hidden in Pacha cards, like this one. If you come across one of them, the Amaru will attack you with double strength. So the Waya needs to throw the Wiracocha die twice and get 2 positive Wiracochas to survive. If you get one of them not approved, then your Waya will die. But if you are successful and survive the attack, now you can try to dominate the Amaru. You will throw the Wiracocha die twice, and if you get 2 approvals, then the Amaru will be dominated and she will become part of your IU. Amarus have double attack and double defense, so if you dominate them and they become part of your IU, you have a great advantage. Okay, now onto the roles. Each IU has 5 different roles for their Wayas, and these are the guide, the scout, the fighter, the hunter, and the shaman. The elemental color on the border of each piece represents the role. So for example, crimson fire for the guide, sky blue air for the scout, emerald water for the fighter, gold earth for the hunter, and purple void for the shaman. Each Waya has 2 powers according to their role. One power is free, and the other power requires you to consume a llama to perform it. So for example, this is Ayarmanco from the Inca IU, and his role is the guide. Each IU has a guide, so this is Yawarsupai from the Chanca IU, and he is also a guide. Guide have the power of protection, and they can protect themselves and other allies within their Wamani with double the defense. So for example, if Ayarmanco is protecting Ayarauca and Yawarsupai wants to attack either of them, Yawarsupai needs to throw the Wiracocha die twice, and both times it has to be successful for them to defeat the guide. If one of the throws is not approved, then they survive. Guides can also consume 1 llama, which they place in the Ukupacha, and transport themselves anywhere within the suyo they are currently in, not including the Titicaca. Guides can take an ally with them if they want to, or even an enemy with them, but only within the suyo they are in. Next are the scouts. Scouts have the power of flight, and they can go over Pircas as if they didn't exist. They could also take 1 ally or 1 enemy if they choose to with them. Scouts can also consume 1 llama and use the power of velocity to move 2 Wamanis in the same turn. They can also take an enemy or an ally with them, or they can even pick up an enemy or an ally and take it with them. Then we have the fighters. Fighters have the power of reach, so they can attack Wayas that are located 1 Wamani around them. They don't need to be in the same Wamani to attack, they can do it at a distance. Their power cannot go through Pircas though. Fighters can also consume one llama and use the power of overload to double their attacks, which means they will throw the Wiracocha die twice and only one of them has to be approved for them to defeat the enemy, so they get 2 chances. If they attack a guide with overload, their powers will cancel each other out and the fighter only throws the Wiracocha die once, and if successful, the guide is defeated. Next, we have the hunters. Hunters have the power of ambush, which means that if an enemy Waja enters their Wamani, the hunter steals their turn and would attack them right away. If it's positive, then the enemy Waja dies. If it's not positive, then the turn goes back to the enemy Waja and he can continue the attack or the placement. This power is more preventive because if you know that a hunter is in a Wamani, you probably won't enter it. Hunters can also consume one llama and use the power of theft, which means if an enemy Waja is one Wamani around them, they can pay the one llama and then just steal the Tupayori out of them without having to defeat them. Hunters can also grab the Tupayori from an ally, or they can also try to pull out the Tupayori at a distance, but they will need the approval of Wiracocha to pull it out from the Titicaca or from a peripheral Wamani. Hunters can also use this power in a variation where instead of pulling the Tupayori, they pull an enemy into their Wamani and then they would attack him right away. Basically, a theft and an ambush in the same turn. And finally, we have the shamans. Shamans have the power to paralyze, which means that if you place a shaman in a Wamani with enemy Wajas, they will become paralyzed and they won't be able to perform any actions, they won't be able to move or to attack until the shaman leaves the Wamani. Also, the enemy could put a shaman of their own in the same Wamani and their powers will cancel each other out, and now everyone will be free and able to move. Shamans can also consume one llama and use the power of evocation, which means that if there's a dead Waya from their same Ayu in the Tawantinsuyo, they will be able to evoke their powers. So by paying the one llama, now I could have the power of overcharge and attack them with double strength. This was the overview of the game. Please download the rulebook so you can find out more details about the rules. I hope you liked the game. And if you have any questions about the rules or you think they are too complicated, please write us to our social media channels or info@pers.com. Someone should reply to you promptly. And please follow us on Kickstarter. We really need your likes, your follows, your money really, but anyway. And okay, until next time, bye.